Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this. So go back. I want to go back. So now we're in a position where, because of um, Orange Guy's executive orders, there are going to be situations where we are at the whims of somebody else's opinion about us, um, somebody else's moral compass. So Trump says that I don't have to consider you a man. I know I don't have to consider you a woman, regardless of the legalities of it, regardless if you done got your bottom surgery, regardless if you done got whatever you done got done. You look passable or not passable, blah, 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 blah. Trump said that if honey, now I can do what I need to do to wear you out without consequence. So if I want to take your passport and force you to be stuck in this country, um, if I want to not let your abuela across the border seeking asylum, if I want to do whatever I need to do, run you over, if you're protesting, all the stuff. It's up to them now. It's up to them. Is there some legal recourse that you can take? Absolutely. But in the moment, they are allowed to do it. But then you got to go through the process of taking it to court. So, okay. Doesn't mean that it's law, but it makes it a barrier. So I say all of that to play this clip for y'all. All right. And I want y'all to pay attention to the conversation. All right. So this is, I see Carmen Carrera. I see another trans woman. I see some cis women. I see some dudes. Yeah. So I see some cis dudes. So, all right. So y'all see, it's a panel of people talking. So the conversation that is going to be happening is between this girl, who's a trans girl, and this cis girl right here. Y'all ready? Let me.
We are on the same page. If you don't look like a girl, get the fuck out of the girls' bathroom.
I don't think you belong in the girls' bathroom.
But you wouldn't, my love, you wouldn't know. A lot of the issues that we're having is the divide where it's competition, my love. We're dating the same man.
We're definitely not dating the same man.
We are, baby. Trust me.
No, we are not.
We are.
I don't know about dating.
Yes, we are. We're dating the same dude.
Can't say that.
I think that there's a competitive aspect to where, like, girls.
Carolina,
you
this is
would not
where I just
know.
full on cut you off.
We are on the same page. If you don't look like a girl, get the fuck out of the girls' bathroom.
I don't think you belong in the girls' bathroom.
But you wouldn't, my love.
I love that. I love that because the reason why I love that is the trans girl says we are on the same page, thinking that her and the cis girl was going to be, yeah, if you don't look like a girl, stay out of the girl's bathroom. And the cis girl popped her right back and said, baby, I don't think you should be in the girl's bathroom. And so the trans girl gets popped right back, thinking she thought that. Oh, this is another thing. Okay, let me finish that statement. She thought that because she feels fish passable, she has assimilated into looking cis to her, that, oh, if you don't look the part, then you don't need to be in the girls' bathroom. And Fish said, I don't care if you look the part. I don't want you in there, buddy. Sir. So that's why I named this assimilating. Actually, does it keep us safe now? I think that this was a quite interesting immediate reality check for her. For two reasons. some of you bitches who think y'all passable are not. I'm just gonna say it. It could be me. Listen, me, everybody else, whoever else. I am not under any delusions that when I go out of here in these streets, that somebody maybe will figure out my tea or know my tea. And it could be various reasons. They could be exposed to trans people so much that they can just tell. Or I know that for me, I get clocked by people within my own race easier than people outside of my race. It could be I just know. It could be the voice, it could be the height, it could be a plethora of things that somebody can zone in on that they could think that I am trans. I have gotten to the point in my life to where I don't really care. I don't really care if you know, just don't bother me. I don't really care. But there is a realistic lived experience situation with me too. Most of the time when I go out in the world, I'm not getting clocked. Does that mean that somebody didn't clock me when I'm out in the world in every situation that I'm in? No. There's could be somebody who clocked me and just don't say nothing. Just don't bother me. They could be like, "Oh, I think that she's trans." But they just don't bother me. So just because I'm not getting clocked and nobody is pointing, that's a man, doesn't mean that they're not clocking me. And I think a lot of people, a lot of trans people, just because somebody don't say nothing don't mean that they didn't clock you. Now, that is my lesson. That's what I want to say to trans people, because everybody, you ain't as passable as you think you are. And then sometimes there be situations where it ain't even about your looks. Sometimes they just know, or somebody has told them, and you don't even know they done told them, or you don't know. You just don't know. So that's number one. But I feel the same way about cis people who think that they can clock every single one of us. Because I have 100% been in situations where people didn't know I was trans and they were claiming that they know they can tell with everybody. No, you cannot tell with everybody. Some people you can, and some people you can't. And you know why you can't tell with everybody? And why and simultaneously you can't pass for everybody? Because what is passable and unpassable, there is a range and spectrum based on your look and based on that person's lived experience. There are some people who can pass in certain situations, but then won't pass in another situation. There are some people who it's just easy for them to tell because they've been exposed to trans people a lot. I remember there was some like trans men. You running around, yeah, you got a beard, but you running around 5'2" and you 45 looking like you young. And I remember a time when I wouldn't to be able to know, but then now I clock them easily because I'm more exposed to them. There's so many layers. And then there's some that I'm like, oh my God, I would have never known. Nothing. It just depends. It depends on the scenario. Everything about clocking is about your lived experience and your range within the norms. I'm not saying that it ain't, and that's funny. I'm not saying that there aren't cisgender men that are 5'2", absolutely, but it's really very rare. It's rare. And so that's something that could spark in somebody's mind that this could be a trans man. Or maybe a lot of time I see people in the comments talk about, oh, I can always tell by the voice. Maybe, but there are some people who don't have any voice issues. They voices, that's the most unclockable part about them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's these things that is you there are people who are pretty as hell, but they're clocky as hell. I have said this many times. There's a difference between being pretty and being passable. There are so many girls, popular girls, who are pretty, are beautiful girls, but they are, they are beautiful trans women. Like you're not confusing them for cis women at all. Like, I know, I don't want to say no name because that would be like, it would be shady, but there are girls who are popular right now, gorgeous, stunning, but they're not passing at all. Like you're absolute face card down. You are beautiful, but you are a beautiful trans woman. And I can see it. I know it. I can tell it. You're not passing at all. You are totally stunningly beautiful, strikingly beautiful, but you are a beautiful trans woman. And I see it. And I know it's there. People, as soon as they see you, they know that this is a trans person. You're beautiful, 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 beautiful. Bam. And the opposite is, the other side is true as well. You are ugly as homemade sin, but you look like a girl. You look like a regular cis girl. Like, I look at you and you are hideous to me. And it's in a beautiful beauty is in the eye of the beholder. To me, you're hideously unattractive. I don't see suitors knocking down your door. But do you look like a cis girl? Yes. I can see you getting through. I can see you walking down the street and nobody thinking twice on whether or not you are a boy or girl. They probably think that you just a regular cisgender girl, but because you are not but you are unattractive. You ugly, but you look cis. I know I have seen people that are so unattractive, but they look like a cisgender girl. Not because they're ugly, but because it's just what they look like is within the range of looking like a regular cis girl. And then you got those middle ground people where you're not stunningly beautiful. You're not ugly either. You just plain Jane, regular. And to me, those are the most passable ones. To me, like the most passable girls who have the highest frequency of passing and getting through are the ones who are plain Jane. They not ugly. They not passable. They not ugly and they're not beautiful. They're just regular. They're just like regular. They might got a little bit of beauty here. It's just they're right in that middle ground. They're like a 5 and a 6. And same thing with height. They're not too tall. They're not too short. They just like regular. Where you just there. You just a regular girl, and you just get through, and you just regular. You're not paying it. You're so unremarkable that they're not getting in. They're not like, It's just regular. And that's not bad. And one of the books that I've talked about this book, it's by the dude who created Wicked, Gregory Maguire. His book called Confession of the Ugly Stepsister is about this exact thing. The girl that is the main character is just so plain that she just goes under the radar. It's not that she's ugly. It's not ugly. It's just plain. It's just plain. Nobody is looking at you and critiquing you. Like, they're looking at you and just looking away because it's nothing that's going to catch their eye, as opposed to this Amazonian, beautiful, stunning girl where you look at her and you like, oh, I see so many pretty things about her, but that Adam's apple, them feet, them shoulders, your face is stunning, but everything about the rest of you, I'm paying attention, and it's like, ooh, what makes her not so pretty? What is her flaws? Hello, everyone who's just coming in. So, for me, I think a lot of girls who hold this stance,
a lot of the issues that we're having is the divide where it's competition, my love. We're dating the same men.
We want to not dating the same men.
We are, baby.
So it's two things that's happening here. The delusion of cis people to think that we're not dating the men that they're dating. That's the delusion happening. And the delusion to think that that they all are dating you because you're so passable. No. There's listen. I have this where this comes into play with, this might be spicy. I'm just having conversation and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. I have this where it's really stark is when it comes to the competition between, in my younger years, not now, but in my younger years, the competition between me and butch queens who like straight boys. There are some gay boys that think just because the boy likes a trans woman that he will like them. Is there some dudes out here that will? Absolutely. But there are some dudes who, no matter what, they won't deal with you because you're a man. Is there some that will cross those lines? Yes. Yes, there's some DL boys who will do it, all of us. Absolutely. But there are some dudes who it doesn't matter what you do. It don't matter what you do. They won't deal with you because you're a man. And the same thing goes with cis women and trans women. There are some dudes that are not going to deal with you because you're not cis. That's just what it is. There's dudes that are literally out here like that. There are some dudes that are not going to deal with you because you're not cis. Also, let's get it even more spicier. Let's just do it with trans girls with trans girls. There are some dudes that are not going to deal with you because you don't pass. And you a brick. And while they will mess with a trans woman, they are only going to mess with a passable one. You running around with no breast, unshaved with a beard, or looking scruffy, looking hard, there are going to be some that are not going to deal with you because you're a brick. And guess what? Let's flip that on its head. There are going to be some that's not going to deal with the pretty girl because they like bricks. They like you to look hard. And so if you look too soft, they're not going to deal with you because you look like your dick don't work. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it gutter. If you lived in this life, you know the truth. There's some people that you too soft, too feminine, too passable for him. Usually those want to deal with butch queens too. But not necessarily. They might just like the bricky girls. That early in transition kind of girl. Where you still got a little testosterone in there. You still got a little lean muscle. You ain't looking soft. You looking like that thing get rock hard. Look like it got a bunch of veins in it and it's girthy. Because everybody like different shit. And so there's going to be some overlap. And if trans girls are delusional in thinking that there are not overlap in butch queens that will fuck with you, that he will fuck with, that there's some dudes who will fuck with them too, let them suck their piece, you delusional. Just as delusional as cis women who think that they only deal with dudes who will mess with only cis girls and not trans women at all. And clock this T. There are some dudes who, just because you trans, I don't like you. It's either or. It's plenty of cis men and butch queens that are like that. They'll fuck with a cis woman, but won't fuck with a trans woman, but they will fuck with a dude. I know some butch queens, let's spill that tea. I know some cis dudes who identify as straight or bi, who will mess with cis girls and mess with dudes, but won't mess with trans because they want you to be either or. Clock that. Those exist too. Bi does not equal trans attractive. So are we clocking this T? So both of these hoes on this clip is delusional. The cis woman and the trans woman being delusional. I understand why the clash is. The clash is that y'all have these silly ass beliefs. So she has the belief that, like she said, I agree with you. If you don't look the part, then you shouldn't be in the girls' bathroom. So she's hopping on dick riding cis people on the bathroom issue. Thinking that it's gonna save her. Passability ain't saved none of y'all motherfuckers. Ever. I'm not saying that it don't equate to safety sometimes. Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Sometimes I need to be passable in a moment. I don't have no issues traveling. I'm not saying that I don't get clocked, but it ain't happened yet. I ain't saying that I will never. It just ain't happened yet. My ID matches what I present. I'm a binary girl. I don't have people come into the bathroom, and I don't go to the bathroom and people is like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here." I don't have that. I'm blessed in a sense where I'm passable enough. I'm not saying I'm perfectly passable, but I'm passable enough to go in bathroom freely, go out of the country freely, go. I walk through the world pretty freely. I don't really get wore out in that kind of way. I'm not saying that I don't get clocked. Somebody might clock me. And there's another level of clocking too that we got to talk about. So there's a level of I'm clocking so there's a level of I'm clocking and I know for sure that you're trans. Like I'm clocking and I'm like, oh, I know you're trans. Like, hey, how you do? Hey girl, you look fierce. Like I know for sure you're trans. Like it's no question. There's also a clocking where I'm clocking, but I'm actually not 100% sure. Like it could be trans, but it could be not, and I'm just not for sure. So I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't know. I'm not for sure. Where I'm like, The voice is kind of spicy, but she look regular degular. She look like a woman, but it could be just a deep voice woman. She's tall, but she's like 5'10", 5'11". It ain't 6'5". I know tall women. Oh, her feet don't look too manly. You ain't. It's like, hmm. Her hands is big, but they look soft. It ain't like veins and shit right here. It ain't. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, her hands is big, but it ain't like Hulk Hogan manly hands. So maybe, but maybe not. There'll be situations where they're not for sure. Where it's a clock, but it ain't a clock to capacity. It's like it's not There are cis women with big hands and tall, yeah. But also a tall cisgender woman with big hands is still gonna look different. Trans women don't be in law school. Trans women don't vacation in the Bahamas. It's a clock, but not a spook. Describe what's the difference between a clock and a spook, Ty. So that's what it is. Or I'm in a situation, and I think what Brianna is indicating, you could be in a situation that you're just, they're not used to you being there. So the assumption is that you're not trans. I'm not used to a trans woman being in this law school space. So I'm assuming that maybe this is not a trans woman. And so all my mindset is saying, this might be a trans woman, but I'm not used to a trans woman being in this space. So boom, I go to a country club. I'm not used to a trans woman being there. So I'm not thinking, oh, yeah, I'm tripping. Maybe that's not a trans woman. Especially if it's a girl that's kind of on that passable level. Do you see what I'm saying? It's different when you got, honey, Tyrone in a wig, Leroy in a wig, ain't never hit a moan, ain't never got no work done, just a wig on. There's a difference between that and a girl who is like doing the part, doing the things that she needs to do. How you exist definitely throws them off. Absolutely. Also, your mannerisms. I feel like a lot of girls get clocked because of their mannerisms. Yeah, you look the part, but you act like a faggot. Agate. Yes, you look pretty, but you're giving me Antoine. Yes, you look pretty, but everything that come out of your mouth is gay lingo. Yes, you look pretty, but baby, if I close my eyes, I feel like I'm talking to a butch queen. Like everything about you is giving, yes, ma'am, yes, girl, henny girl, child, boo, down the house, boots. You pretty. And if you just shut your mouth, I probably would have just thought you was a regular girl. But because you are giving me Pendavis, Balenciaga, Garcon, Mugler, Tushy, the house down boots, it is given. I think that is something that also clocks down. I think when you go, there's just some girls that when you go out in public, they can't cut that off. And I'm not saying that you can choose to be who you are, but sometimes that gets you clocked too. You think you're not. And I remember when I used to be younger, I'm like, yo, I want to get my clocks on my own. Like if I don't want to be out with people this is problematic, but I didn't want to be out with people who, damn, I'm getting clocked by association. And I wanted to get my fish to a level to where even if I'm with the girls, I'm still the fish. I want to get there. And I end up getting the work done to get me to the point where the trade would be saying, oh, that's a man, but that's not a man. That's a girl right there. Pass it, girl. Fish. Fish about it. And it was something that I want to do. As I got older, did I feel like did it save me in certain situations? Yes. But it doesn't. The point to me, this is my own personal point. I want to create a world where it don't really matter. Stop bothering people. It don't really matter if I'm passable or not. Stop bothering people. Leave people alone. Give people their rights. Let people be treated fairly. I don't really care. It shouldn't really matter on whether I am clockable or passable or not. Stop bothering people. And when we make these arbitrary lines of what is acceptable for cis people to treat, good or bad, we are a part of the problem. If you are making these lines, if you're saying, well, if you don't look the part, then you shouldn't go to the bathroom. What you're saying is, just like what she said, listen.
No, we are. I don't know about that. Yes, we are.
Write this line that when it starts over, it's about to start over.
To where, like, Carolina, this is where I just
this line.
Cut you off. We are on the same page. If you don't look like a girl, get the fuck out of the girl's bathroom.
I don't think you belong in the girls' bathroom.
But you wouldn't.
So she was saying we on the same page. If you don't look like a girl, so what you're telling them, these cis people, as a trans person, which I think is cooning, it's a level of cooning, a trans coon, coon spelled with a Q and a U, OON, a trans cooning. What you're telling them is that if you don't look like a girl, we can come and put you out of the girl's bathroom, or you deserve to be treated badly. So also, if somebody clocks you and don't feel like you look like a girl, despite you thinking you do, then you're giving them permission to wear you out. And I'm never going to be that girl. I don't think that that's okay. I'm somebody who thinks that no matter how you look, you should be able to do what you need to do. I think maybe like a couple of years ago, there was a white trans woman on TikTok that was using a bathroom in her apartment complex, and one of the cis women were wearing her out. And then when she told them that she was trans, and when you look at her, she just looked like a regular white man with long hair. My stance was, it is not the cisgender woman. If you come into this bathroom, you got a beard, you got your long hair, and you haven't done any work to make yourself be passable, and this cisgender woman in the culture that we live in come into this bathroom and is like, oh my God, it's a man in the women's bathroom. Older boomer, not used to these changes that are going on. And she come in, I don't think it's unfair for her to be like, oh my God, I feel unsafe in this situation. I don't think it's unfair for her to feel that. Now, when you tell her that, oh, darling, I'm trans, I'm just using the bathroom, once it's clear that you are a trans person and there's no kind of attack happening, no kind of weird, creepy shit happening, then I think it's unfair for you to treat this trans woman shitty, regardless of how she looks. Once we see that this is a safe situation, and we tell it that this is a trans woman, and the people at your apartment complex know that you have been a trans woman for as long as you have been there, this is not a game. Then if you still treating her like shit, I think you're tired. Once you realize it, like I think it's unfair to think I'm supposed to know what the fuck you are. Cause I be in that situation where I don't know what you got going on. And I'm gonna ask you, I'm like, what's your pronouns or what's going on? Da 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 da. Just so I can be clear. Just so I don't disrespect you. But once you tell me, then my response to you should be different. But what happens is because of transphobia and the nature of what's happening culturally and politically, these motherfuckers who don't like trans people, now they can be shitty to you. I don't like that. And people like this trans woman is condoning it. There's multiple situations like this, but I don't know. I don't remember her name. I know it was T.S. Madison that was talking about her, and her and T.S. Madison was going back and forth. She's an older, heavyset white woman, and she was using the bathroom, a single stall bathroom. This isn't a double stall. This is a single star bathroom. Um, and the woman was bothering her for going into the single stall bathroom at her apartment complex. Kaylee, I don't know her name. I don't know her name, but she's an older, heavy-set white woman, tall. She had she had a beard, some spriggle hairs. It wasn't like a full fucking beard when I saw her, and she was on TikTok. She did have some little straggly. She said she was going through her depression, and she was just either going to pay her rent or going to do something. And there was a bathroom that was a single person bathroom, and the lady tripped about her going to the bathroom at her apartment complex. Like she went to her lease. It's like a leasing office bathroom or something. But she didn't just, it wasn't like, honey, I walk around. That's another element. And I think that this is connected to the problem that some trans people are expressing with the non-binary thing. Yeah, it's gray hair. I don't know her. I don't follow her, don't know her. But yeah, she did have gray hair. But she's been living her life in her truth for a minute. She ain't got work done, but it wasn't like she run around as a boy all the time. But she said, honey, I was going through a depressed time, so I just didn't have time to shave and get all the stuff right. Da 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 da. And the lady started bothering me. And so T.S. Madison chimes in, well, if you don't look the part, you don't need to go to the bathroom, or you don't need to go to that bathroom, and da da da. Other people, they was having the same conversation that this trans woman is having. If you don't look the part, this comes with the territory. And my stance on that is, when that same rule is turned on you because you don't look the part to somebody, and just because you shaved, just because you put on the flyest lace front wig, just because you got all the body work, don't mean that this cisgender person don't know you trans. And if they think you trans, you a man for real, and you shouldn't be in this bathroom, that means to them you don't look the part, you didn't pass. So now are they able to treat you badly, since you're saying that this woman who don't look the part to you should accept that this treatment? But now that you don't look the part to somebody, there's an exception because you think you did all the stuff. That's not how it works, babe. That's not how it works. That's not how it ever works. Those arbitrary lines about how you should treat people and how you should not treat people, if it's just based on looks, then we have a problem. Because then when you start making it about looks, it's a bunch of problematic shit that can come in. Oh, because you too big and fat, you not feminine no more. Because now we got to get into the rules of what's considered womanly and feminine. You so big and fat that you're not a girl no more to me, so I can treat you bad. Oh, you too dark skinned, and dark skin is associated with masculinity. If you was light skinned or pale, that's more feminine than dark skin. So I'm clocking you and thinking you a man because you too dark to be running around here in women's clothes. I clocked. You start having these weird ass, you're too tall, you're too big, you're too dark, you whatever these weird ass shit that we always calling out when it comes into the system of racism, colorism, sexism, all this kind of stuff. It starts getting weird when we have these arbitrary lines of what is feminine and what is masculine, and who determines it is the people, the layman, because if you don't fit what the layman thinks is feminine enough, then you create these arbitrary lines that you can be on the bad side of. Y'all following me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, does it make sense? Because you could think you're passable, but that doesn't mean Susie Sue, cisgender Susie Sue, think that you are. And so if you're telling them that they have permission to treat you like shit and put you out the girl's bathroom just because you're clockable, if Susie Sue Ellen, cisgender Susie Sue, clocks you, then then you're saying that they have permission to put you out. And treat you badly. I think that that is tired. I think that that is an arbitrary line that everybody is not going to pass. That's an arbitrary standard that everybody is not going to pass, including some of your faves, including you. In every situation, you might pass it sometimes, but in every situation, you might not. You feel me? I think that's weird. I think it's weird. I think that it's confusing. I think the cisgender people on this panel, you're giving them a bad message to me. You're giving them a bad message. People be really worried about the wrong things about trans women in public, women toilet, when they need to be worried about the cost of living and the Trump raising tariffs 25% to make it worse. I agree. I agree. But when it comes to that stuff, this is how I feel. When it comes to that stuff, this is how I feel. Oh.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Clear the way.
Okay.
This is how I feel about that.
Right now, I'm going to mind my fucking business. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Clear the way.
Okay. That's how I feel about that. I'm gonna mind my fucking business. I'm gonna mind my fucking business, baby. All right, another example of what I want to talk about. Let's see if I can find it. All right, so some more foolishness. So this is somebody that I don't like. I blocked him years ago and block him every time I see him. Um, so let me play it.
Bottoms, y'all need to hear this, all right? Hear me out, because this message right here is about to shift your whole mindset. If you want your man to treat you better, give you more, and step up at home in the relationship, well, guess what? You've got to step up too. Just like women in straight relationships, gay bottoms often take on the roles, the nurturing role, but sometimes egos get in the way. And that's where everything starts to fall apart. All right, let's break this all the way down. In gay relationships, a lot of bottoms naturally take on the roles that mirror those of women in straight relationships. Think about it. You want to feel cared for, protected, and prioritized. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. Just like women who want her man to step up and be more dominant, you have to understand that men, whether they're straight or gay, respond to energy. Here's a scenario. You're frustrated because your man never plans a romantic date. Instead of nagging him, you never take me anywhere. Try flipping the script. Say something like, babe, I love when you take charge and plan something for us. All right, let's talk about it. Bottoms, y'all need to hear this. All right, hear me out. All right, let's talk about it. Bottoms.
Will you shut the fuck up? My comment was, imagine bringing in straight people's foolishness into gay relationships. All while most of them straight people think your lifestyle is an unnatural abomination. You are trying to bring in straight people's shit that don't even work for them. Have you seen these gender war? The straight people. Have you seen these gender wars? The straight people are not all right, baby. They're not all right. You want to bring in straight people shit to gay stuff. Imagine having the luxury of being a queer person. The luxury of being a queer person. And I want to mimic my queer life and rules behind these clowns who barely wash their ass. Explain why. Explain to me why would these niggas is these clowns are flying to other countries. This is how stupid they are, and you want to mimic them. They are flying to other countries to get traditional women because the Western women are all about money. But going to other countries, poor countries, to pick up women who only marrying them for their money. And then when they get them over here and they leave them, when they get their citizenship, they're confused. This is the people that you want to mimic by. This is the relationship and the dynamic that we want to borrow from. The cisgender heterosexual dynamic. The men are out here intentionally creating broken homes, getting 8, 6, 12, 13 baby mamas. They out here prioritizing having children out of wedlock. Not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is an issue that they're having over there. We want to mimic what they're having over there. You think that's smart? You want to mimic the misogyny of women onto gay male bottoms? Am I tripping? I can't. I just don't think I'm tripping. Ducking and dodging their child support. Period. I just don't understand. Like we got out of the frying pan and we trying to get into the skillet. Ain't that what they said on The Wiz? Ain't that what? Remember when they fell in when the poison poppies and and Scarecrow, Michael Jackson was like out of the frying pan and into the skillet. It's just crazy to me. It doesn't make sense to me. It is crazy. That's crazy. And people talk about Armand as a top. Okay. Sure. Okay. That's just
All right, let's talk about
okay. I maybe. I don't know what his sexual practice is, but if you believe it, I got a boat in Montana I want to sell you. Okay. Okay. He need to make us all a sandwich. He was shaking his booty in a pink thong on Twitter. Definitely not giving top energy. And who is letting you top them, child? Listen, I don't want to be problematic in that way too. Anybody can be a top, anybody can be a bottom, but you running around giving Cairo corn sugar in the tank. Listen, you is not. You can't tell me nothing about tops and bottoms and rules and regulations um of relationships. Have a seat. No, mm-mm. I can't deal with it, babe. I can't deal with it.
bottoms.
Go have a seat. Have a seat, darling. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Somebody said fish get clocked. That goes back to that other conversation, but yes, but I'm talking to the trans girls, but it also works on the other side. There, you can go in the bathroom and they get to bothering you because you ain't passing, and you got a whole vagina and children at home because of these arbitrary lines. You get to, we done seen it. We done seen the girls get wore out in the bathroom and they got the vaginas and the ovaries, have the period every month. Aunt Flo come faithfully and you still getting clocked. All right. Honey. But I ain't want to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me. But they be gagging. I saw this cisgender girl recently on one of those balloon pops. She got a deep ass voice. And all the trade popped their balloon because her voice was deep. But she was actually a cisgender woman. The balloons are popping, baby. She did sound like Bob the Builder. She did have a deep voice. That don't mean that wasn't pussying. We know cis women with deep voices. But them balloons was getting popped. Pop, 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 pop. Kathleen Turner. There's a bunch of hoes out here with. I feel like Beyonce got a deep ass voice. I feel like a couple of these hoes got deep ass voices. To me. My mama had a deep voice. To me. Yes, it was posted on this Butch Queen that I follow. He posted it. I don't know his name. It was Dre Drew or Dre something. Something. And it's similar to the BBL shit, y'all, too. Now, I'm from the South. I'm not saying this is just because I, grew up in the Midwest. I've been around Southern girls all my life. So seeing girls with like sickeningly perfect asses, like stripper level asses, BBL level asses, but natural, that's not an uncommon thing. My cousin Shalonda, people used to be like, God damn, and this before it wasn't no BBL at all. It's natural. Her ass just was ass. It was like God, like women, men, gays. When we see Shalonda, we like, damn, bitch, where you get all this? Where this ass come from? And when I was in college, there was girls like that where I'm like, bitch, your body is crazy. But nowadays, because BBLs are so popular, y'all will see a natural ass and think it's fake. I see people that I'm like, I know that ass is real. Because I remember her from when we was in high school. And people in the comments talking about it's a BBL. Like, girl, we know the weird looking BBLs. But it's some BBLs that look natural, and it's some natural that look like BBLs because it's a fucking fire. And I think that's how the passability trans or cis situation is nowadays. Technology has come very, very far. Nature has always been nuanced. Nature, like actual nature. There are men, even non-trans ones. There are men that if you cut all their hair, cut their hair off, or you put them in the skirt, you put them in da-da-da. I mean, there are some men that look like women, even if they're not trying to. I remember so y'all know my cousin Kiki. Kiki has a gay brother named Kiever that be singing with her sometimes. She also have a straight brother. He's a bishop now. He just got ordained. Shout out to Kendall. When we was younger, Kendall, one time, I'm spending the night over their house. We laughing and joking, blah, 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 blah. And we making fun of Kiki. The straight brother go in there and put on Kiki's wig and Kiki's dress. And Kendall, that's what I'm talking about. Kendall came out the room and his body was so fucking snatched in that dress. His hips was like way small hips, bam. And it was like, whoa, your body looking banging in this dress. Just natural. Ty. When me and Ty was younger, Ty always been short. She always been a short girl. And she always been cakey. When she was smaller, everything was small on her except for her fucking ass. So while when we're younger, we all running around in pads and shit. This bitch could be in some Daisy Dukes. She 5'4", ass placow, ain't got wear no pads at all. Body looking banging. Cause she was stacked. And it looked fish. It looked sickening. And we never had a lick of work. So even in the regular people natural bodies, there are some nuances that's thick as fuck. That's like, they can be thick, they can be, it's kind of like when we see those, look at Brittany Griner. Do you know how easy it would be for Brittany Griner if she hit just a taste of testosterone for her to just look like a regular nigga? Based on what she got naturally right now. How easy, her voice is fucking deep. She barely got any titties, if that. Do you know how easy it would be for Brittany Griner to be like this most sickening, passable trans man if she just one drop of motherfucking testosterone? Yes, I know Dougie. Douglas. If you go on my page on Instagram, I got a picture of me and Dougie. Years ago. On my Instagram. It seemed like the testosterone is already there with Britt. Period. So everybody has these things about them that could, straddle the line of what's feminine and what's masculine. Right, a spectrum. So it's just these things that. So I'm saying all of that these lines, these arbitrary lines about. It is 53 people in here. Thumbs up. Make sure y'all thumbs up and engage with the content, because it hasn't been. I see only like 24 people who has actually thumbs up. 25 now. Who else? Thumbs up. Brittany could get it. Brittany is fine. So I just think it's quite like interesting that people, you see these common people that straddle these lines, and so making these arbitrary rules about what is feminine, what is not feminine, it can get real spicy, and it can make other people who fit all the standards. And I think this is what people don't understand about biology. There is no line that you can make that every single human fits. People love to say, but you can't, you not a woman because you can't have no babies. There's cisgender women who can't have no babies. That's a point that we all have made, we all have heard. And then motherfuckers get to scrambling because that line, everybody don't fit. You ain't got no real vagina. I got a God-given vagina. Yeah, but there's people who are born and they don't have a vagina. There are some people who say if you get a hysterectomy, you're taking away your womanhood. Or there's people with you ain't got no, you get down to the chromosomes, you still got a Y chromosomes. There are some boys who have a Y chromosome that because they are androgen insensitive, and it's really, really common, because they're androgen insensitive, their penis doesn't develop. And so when they come out of the womb, they look like regular girls, but they can't have babies. They can't have babies, and they're sterile, and they don't know it until somebody does a test on them and they realize, oh, baby, you were supposed to be a girl. You were supposed to be a boy. Your genes say that you're supposed to be a boy. No, I'm not talking about androgynous or hermaphrodite. That's another thing. Everything ain't intersex either. Let me.
So, as a board certified gynecologist, I've taken care of many women with infertility, and sometimes we can't find anything wrong, so we'll check their chromosomes, and it turns out that they have XY chromosomes. And further testing usually shows that they have a condition called androgen insensitivity syndrome. Inside the uterus, we will all develop into females if not exposed to androgens, which are male hormones. The Y chromosome is responsible for producing androgens. Some people, some fetuses, have a condition called androgen insensitivity syndrome. And even though their bodies are producing testosterone and other androgens, their body doesn't respond to it. And so they develop into a perfectly normal looking female. However, they have XY chromosomes. They move through society as women, they marry men, and the only time a problem comes up is when they can't get pregnant, because XY males cannot get pregnant. But they've been in society as women. They never knew the difference. You never knew the difference. So what do you call these people once they find out that their chromosomes are XY? Please feel free to look it up. It's androgen insensitivity syndrome. And the complementary syndrome that happens to women, or that happens to XX females in utero who are exposed to testosterone is that even though they're XX females, the androgens that they're exposed to, usually from their adrenal glands, so this is called congenital adrenal hyperplasia, cause them to develop into the male, into a male phenotype. So they have a penis, they have all the other things that men have, but they usually don't produce sperm. So we call them men in our society because that's the role that they carry. Obviously, I don't see them in my office because I'm a gynecologist, and as far as they know, they're men. But it's much more complex than people like you would make it seem. And I would hope that knowing that even in nature, things don't always go as you expect it to go would cause you to lend a bit of mercy to other people who have varying degrees of desire to fit into different roles in our society. Hey, if it doesn't affect you, I guess I'm wondering, why do you care?
I love when educated people get on here talking their shit. A board certified gynecologist who comes across people commonly who have those mixed up genetics. And it's quite interesting when people try to make these lines. Everybody in the world don't fit under these lines that you're trying to make. And people love to be like, well, that's only a small group of people. I don't give a fuck if it's a small group of people or not. I don't care. There are men born with a double X, so XXY, so an extra X chromosome, at the rate of 1 in every 500 male births, or between 1 in every 500 or 1 in every 1,000. We have multiple billion of people. So even if that is the frequency, 1 in every 500 to 1,000, out of a billion, like multiple billion of people, that means that there are millions of people with an extra X chromosome, males. And because we are forced to be this or this, how does that extra chromosome affect their development? But we don't test for that stuff. They're proof that gender is a social construct and sex is a social construct. And sex is also a binary where there is a spectrum. It's not black and white. The actual sex, the male and the female, is actually a spectrum. And not a linear spectrum. It ain't just boy, it ain't just male, female. And there's things that can change the dimension. It could be a chemical difference. It can be a structural difference, how the brain is structured. It can be a genitalia difference. It could be 2 of the 3. It could be 1 of the 3. It could be all 3 that's going in different directions. So clock that. We definitely, some of these people are just not understanding when they on 101 level, not even 101. When they on 201 level, they still at the level of not understanding the difference between man and woman and male and female. I'm somebody that don't consider myself a female. I consider myself a woman. I don't consider myself a female. There are people who don't know the difference between those two. And they conflate all of it. But then when they go down the rabbit hole of understanding which they don't, it's not about, some people don't care about understanding. They could know that all of this stuff exists. But this is also problematic in the conversation I'm having, because what we're doing is, this is like transmedicalism. Like it's I don't give a fuck if I was born with XY, a penis, all the things that make me a male. I still should be able to run around here and identify with what the fuck I want to identify with. I shouldn't have to be intersex. I shouldn't have to have these autosomal abnormalities. I shouldn't have to have these medical things that happen in nature for me to be able to live my life the way I want to live it. Clock that. I shouldn't have to have some medical defect in order for you to see my humanity. Don't we see that in like the disability justice type of situation? It's easier for some people to care and sympathize with disabled people who we can see their disability. We can actually see it. They're in a wheelchair, they're blind, or blah 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 blah. But when it's a disability that we can't actually see, there's a marginalization that happens, or erasure that happens. I feel like that's what I feel like when it comes to some of the issues that even some trans people go through. It's like, I don't feel like it needs to be that. I got into an argument with someone, and I have the same sentiment as you, and he argued me down no matter what. And now those same people are embracing intersex people for the sake of their argument against trans people. And those same intersex people will throw trans people under the bus and say, because my issue is natural, you should accept me. I'm not one of these crazy trans people. And that reminds me of the people with their green cards and that earned their citizenship or hustled their way into citizenship, and then now they're looking at the immigrants trying to get in, saying, don't let them in. All oppression is connected. You see how I'm making these connections? The parallels? Clock that to you. So, yeah, I find it to be quite strange, quite bullshit. Thumbs up if you're watching. It is 42 people in here now. Or listening. I'm very worried about what will become of us during this next few years of the U.S. I'm out of here. Are they gonna let you out? They taking the girls' passports. The trans girls. Are they gonna let you leave? I want to leave too, but I'm poor. They just blocked a girl from leaving last week. Well, good. They just blocked a trans girl from leaving and took her passport. They literally took her passport and didn't let her leave. They confiscated her passport and didn't issue her a new one. Didn't give no. That's what she's going through. That's what's going on now. This is recent news. I don't know. I don't have the page now, but it just recently happened. Somebody sent it to me. Let me see if I can find it in my what you call it. But it just recently happened last week. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. But it's about to be floating around. It just got to me. So it's like 2 days ago. Yeah, she was at the airport and they confiscated her she wasn't at the airport. I'm lying. No, she was at the place to get your renewal, the passport renewal. So she sent her passport in to get renewed, and they said they wasn't gonna put a F on it. And then when she says, "Okay, well, I'm still trying to fly out, so I need you to put the M on it," they wouldn't do that. They just confiscated her passport and didn't issue her a new one. So she's stuck in the United States with no passport. So she can't leave. Yes, and she had all her stuff legally changed. Yes, I get what you're saying, dog. I get what you're saying because I'm like that too. But what I'm saying is that we are in a different thing now. You are at the whim of whoever is um making the decisions about letting you go and come. You know those people that you got to walk up and say, "Hey, here's my passport." Those people can stop you. If they clock you, they can stop you and have you in limbo. Mm, I mean, I'm just saying. Sometimes it's not about how you look. Sometimes it's about when they scan the system. Sometimes it's not about how you look. Sometimes you can get through your look, but the system flagged you that it was a change. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that it's gonna happen to you. I'm just saying that we are in different times now that we have to be diligent about what the possibilities are. We just have to be diligent about the possibilities. And Bumblebee, that is actually not true yet. So they have, because trans have been going under the radar, they actually don't have anything in the documents that says whether or not a person has changed it or not. But I think that can be that because of this attack on trans people, that they are going to go for something that indicates that. That's not the current place where we are right now. So they don't have something in the system, and this is because I am a part of groups that work with FBI, that work with, that get this kind of information, and we talk to them. The system cannot tell if you have gotten it changed. Right now, currently, the system, they're only blocking people who are trying to change it right now. They're detaining people for even looking Hispanic. Yes, or having Hispanic names, even if they don't look Hispanic but have Hispanic names. Yeah, so I think it's smart to try to get out now early on. I'm just saying, just the possibility is there. I had that happen to me in '07. I was at the airport getting a rental car, and the lady asked me, did I do shows? I was obviously, it was obvious what I was obvious to what she was oblivious. That's what she said. I'm sorry, I'm not reading it right. Oblivious to what she was talking about, and on my way back, she got me together. Well, I don't think she's trying to come back, so. Yeah, but they're not the system as far as this is the double-edged sword about um what do you want to know about it? That was 2014. What about it? No, the getting married is not hard at all. You just go to the courthouse. That part is easy. Do you think non-binary can affect these changes as well? Non-binary people are already being wore out. So I don't when people act like non-binary people is causing problems, they already having issues. The people who got X on their stuff are already right now having issues with this government. They're already having problems with travel and problems with documentation and all that. The people who chose to have an X because it's a clear indicator, which is why I said I didn't want to get it. I wouldn't have got it because, honey, I'm binary, so I need my F. But like you were saying, it's up to discretion. If they spook you, they could do anything now. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It puts us at the mercy of other people. I think that's everybody, babe. Marissa, I think that's everybody. Everybody has this belief that either transphobia isn't real or it doesn't affect them in the same way. But if you're a cis woman and somebody is thinking that you're a man and treating you negatively because they think that you are trans, you are being affected by transphobia. And that could be anybody. If somebody is assuming that you are trans for whatever reason, you are being affected by transphobia. And that could be a non-binary person, that could be a cis person, that could be, you know, anybody. How long do y'all have to stay married? At least 3 years. Do people check up on y'all? Yes, they do. They come to your house, they interview you. You got to have them on the lease. You got to have them living with you. They don't have to live with you, but they have to have stuff at your house. They have to, because they come and visit your house and make sure that y'all are cohabitating. They go through your social medias to see if y'all have pictures and stuff together, wedding pictures. You don't have to have wedding pictures, but at least wedding pictures from the court. Yeah. But you have to be married for 3 years. Um, yeah, you got to go through 4 interviews. Yeah, yeah. So what do we do? As I said in this week's episode of Marsha's Plate, I don't think we're going back. I think we have built a foundation. But I think we do have to adjust how we are navigating the world. I don't think we're going back. I think we got to adjust how we navigate. I think this is a time we went through a time where we're shining and awareness and spotlighting. Now because they have a momentum, we have to now turn to our community and strengthen our community so we can survive through it until it's time for us to shine again. That's where I'm at. I'm thinking of it in that way, to be positive and not just being positive, like toxically positive and unrealistic. I'm not saying that's going to be easy. What I'm saying is that we survived this when we didn't even have the leeway that we have now because of our own community. Our community connections helped us survive. And so now it's time to build your relationships with community. And that doesn't mean that you need to be out here being an activist or you got to have be best of friends with everybody in community. No, it's building your chosen family, people that you trust and love you, and crack down on building those relationships out to where if anything goes down, you have that help and you have that support. And so, yeah, it's about right now. You need to hunker down. Don't be spending a lot of money because we don't know what's coming. It's just about you're adjusting your loud and proudness. I wouldn't think of it as going back. Does it make sense? We've survived worse times than this. Like, I believe they will recriminalize being trans so they can have the girls in jail working for free. Um, I'm not somebody who wants to be doom and gloom. That's not what I want to share. I want to be realistic about possibilities of what things can happen, but we're not there yet. So I'm not somebody who is going to be reacting to the worst possible outcome if we're not there yet. We can't make it seem like they have won already. Diamond, would you ever go in detail about what happened at the trans nonprofit you worked with? I think I've already done. I've already talked about that. I don't know about detail. What details do you want? I was being underpaid. I was being disempowered. Um, the last year just felt like I was being exploited by them and community. And community was being shady and they were being shady. Everybody was being shady. And I had to reevaluate my relationship with everybody in community. And so I shifted, and that shift caused me to cut a lot of community members off. And that shift um, had me cut that organization off and not re-sign my contract. So do I think it's a good place to go if you like a early transitioner, or you somebody who wants to be in community with specifically Black trans people? Yes, I think it's a good conference to be a part of. But is it an organization that I would recommend people work for? No. But going to the conference, yes. But then there's another element of, do you support something that would disempower somebody like me? Because what would they do to you? So it's just a spicy. For me, it's a difficult situation because I don't want to burn it down because there's nothing like it. But also, I do want to burn it down because it's shady. So I'm in that situation. Kind of like with Tabitha Brown. It's like, you weird. You being weird. I don't want to shit on a Black woman, but you trying to sell us out for capitalism pisses me off. So how do I navigate this space? Because I don't ever want to cancel a Black woman. But I need you to navigate this space lightly, delicately. And selling us out for your money pisses me off. So my way of doing is I stop following Tab. I want you to be successful, but I'm done following you because now I feel like you a coon. And so that's how I feel about this organization, where I'm not fucking with y'all no more. This is the first time I've been with them since the inception. And so when somebody asks me what's going on, I'm gonna tell the truth. But I'm not I'm not going, but I'm not going to tell other people not to go because I do. It's a beautiful thing when I see young trans people come into space and it is just full of Black trans people and of all ages, young ones, old ones, from fucking 80s, from, I think the oldest one was Miss Major or Jonathan Thunderbird. Who else was Thunderword? I think the oldest ones last time was Miss Major and him. And then there were some young ones that were like 7 years old. So, yeah. But I see them I see them and I see them like, oh my God, I've never been in a space with all of these trans people. And it's beautiful. So I don't want to destroy that because it is a beautiful moment. So I'll walk away, and if somebody has questions about my truth, I tell the truth. I tell my truth. I'm just thinking you need to be a government official. I am a government official. I'm a Harris County commissioner, but I don't want to be in politics. I think that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't want to be a politician. I feel like politicians have to represent the people they voted for, and I want to represent myself, and I want to speak my mind, and I don't want to have to reach across the aisle and work with the right wings. And I feel like as a politician, you're forced in that situation to where you have to work with these people, and I don't want to be that. I want to be me. I don't want my integrity to be compromised by my position. Right now, and how it's always has been, I have been free to say what's on my mind, however I want to say it. There hasn't been no money situation where I can't be real. There hasn't been any I'm representing these constituents and I have to say it this way. No, I can say what the fuck I want. And I think I like being in that situation. I appreciate the freedom of that. And I feel like as a politician, you have to move a certain way. And I don't want to move. I don't want to be in that situation where I have to move a certain way, or even have the temptation of moving a certain fake ass way. I don't like that. Because I too am not perfect. And so if it's some $1 million that I'm gonna have access to, that can kind of get weird. And the white trans woman in Congress now ain't saying shit. I heard her say her not using either bathroom and isn't a big deal. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I'm every woman is all in me. Anything you want done, baby. Yeah, so it's nothing about that situation that I'm not willing to talk about. But if you have questions, you can ask. But yeah, it started to be disrespectful. It started to be a weird ass community thing that started to happen. Um, where the community was being weird. And what else? I'm trying to think of I was doing a lot of work and putting out a lot of fires. Like really doing a lot of unpaid labor in protecting them from lawsuits, protecting their image. And then when it came to me, they didn't do the same. Not no weird. Wasn't nothing weird happening to me behind the scenes, but in regards to protecting how much money I was getting paid, thinking about my situation in the org. Yeah. And so that imbalance of power started to be annoying as fuck. And then every time I would bring it up, because I'm a good communicator, I tell you how I feel. It would be like, oh no, Diamond, you're thinking about it all the wrong way, but we're going to do better. 3 weeks later, something else will happen that reflects the problem that I had. And so I had to deal with this for 4 years, basically. It started in 2020. Yeah. So I had to deal with this until this year. So like 4 years. No. Busy's in the house. Busy's in the house. And then Tasha Cleveland definitely in the house. I remember that song. It's the thuggish ruggish bomb. It's the thuggish ruggish bomb. It's the thuggish ruggish bomb. Yes, that is exactly what it was, Dreads. It was front facing, figureheading, and responsibilities without the pay. Yes. Her name was Tasha. She says it in the song. And Tasha, Cleveland, definitely in the house. It's the thuggish ruggish bomb. Let us be glad. Let us be grateful. Let us rejoice by the goodness of good subdue. Diamond, what is your songwriting process? Does that melody come to you first, the main idea, or the words? It's different for different songs. It's different for different songs. It depends on. Sometimes I'll get a track and want to write to the track. Sometimes I have songs that I've written that I don't have any music to. And then some songs I have the idea, and then I'll find a track that the idea works on. So it's sick that you can go from politician fish to singing the Thug at the Rogers Bone. Exactly. And I can do that freely because of who I am. T.S. Madison is certainly a safe space for faculty for trans people. I'm proud of her looking out. Yes, I'm proud of her creating a safe house. Yes. I think I'm proud of her getting into philanthropy. Yes. I don't even know what that word means. What's that word, Ty? Maddie starter house. Yes, 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 yes. I'm glad she's getting, she's getting into philanthropy in that way. I think that's a good look. Songwriting. I try to also make songs that reflect my experience, but not so on the head. I like it to, yes, it's gonna reflect my experience, but I feel like it's something that other people can relate to. I think that's what that finding that balance where you know what I'm talking about if you know me, but somebody else who is not in my experience can relate to it. I think that is um I think that is the key to pop music. um I think some of my favorite songs are the most simplest universal lyrics that can be either honed down to being very, very specific or while simultaneously being kind of wide reaching. And she has her work ahead of her. That is not an easy undertaking. I don't think she is undertaking it. I think that she is donating her house, and she's going to have a team of people that's undertaking it. I don't think she's doing that, from what I'm to understand. We're at 2 thumbs up if you are watching. Are you a Lizzo fan? I am. No. These protein chips are so freaking good. These, I love these. This one, you can't just do that, because some people, when they're watching me, they're just listening. They're not watching. So you have to say thumbs up. You can't just do it. They're just listening like a podcast. They're washing dishes, doing laundry. They're not actually visually watching me. They're just listening. So sometimes the visual cues don't always work.